What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. You've heard me talk about yesterday regarding Kawhi Leonard and the possibility of him not being with the Clippers, or the other day, in my previous video. And, more things are coming out about the scandal and things like that. But I think Pablo Torre is just trying to find every little thing he can find so he can better his pockets and better his position, because really, in a lot of people's eyes, he's a nobody. He's not like a Stephen A. Smith or somebody like that. He's not like a worldwide known name in the media industry. He is well known, but not to a lot of people outside of people who really focus on the media industry a whole lot. But he's definitely making a name for himself by, finding out more information about the Clippers and the organization and the dealings that they had. And his sources seem to be pretty decent, I would say, because a lot of people are taking to it. And there's been a lot found within the situation. And Adam Silver is definitely trying to put his foot in the situation and get down to the basis of everything to try to figure out what type of punishments he can, put out towards the team and or Kawhi. But, the crazy thing about the whole situation is, honestly, I feel like the Clippers secretly are just trying to part ways with Kawhi. And that's really not something I think that's out of the realm of possibility, because, listening to some other podcasts, and plus, reading some sources on my own, going to different sites and things like that. And plus some people that I've talked to on my own, there's been rumblings about, there's some sources or people within the Clippers organization that really wants to get rid of Kawhi Leonard, because even though he's incredibly talented and things like that, he hasn't been healthy enough to really put them in position to win. But the only thing I say to that is, you can sit there and say that about Kawhi. You can sit there and say that about any player. Just because Kawhi wasn't healthy and hasn't brought the Clippers a championship, that doesn't mean much. What damn player in history brought Clippers a championship? Chris Paul, when they had Chris Paul and when he was a superstar, he was healthy 90% of the time to me. He rarely was not healthy with the Clippers. He pretty much played all the games, was there, everything, him and Blake Griffin, and they still couldn't win a championship. So I just don't like the fact that people will sit there and try to turn this around and put this on Kawhi like it's Kawhi's problem or fault that he couldn't stay healthy and help the Clippers win. No player in history of the Clippers organization has helped them win a championship. So you can't sit there and blame somebody like Kawhi when you've had other superstars in your past and they did not help the organization win. Maybe the organization's cursed. Maybe they're not. Who knows? So many ifs, ands, or what ifs, or so many things vary when it comes to this type thing. It's hard to just sit there and say, oh, this player did nothing for our organization. Well, there's plenty of players that play for an organization that hasn't did a damn thing for them, and they still get paid. They're still on the roster, and they're a part of the team. Now, whether you like the way Kawhi Leonard operates or not, that's understandable. But at the same time, he is a superstar, and superstars get perks that other players don't. And he's a superstar that's proven on top of that, not once, twice, in winning championships. Whereas you got a lot of the superstars not doing half of what he's done and played way more games. A lot of the Clippers management or sources probably are mad because he hasn't won a championship for them, and they just think it was a waste of time. But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go all in for a superstar, a star player who can put you in position to win. It's no guarantee you're going to win. It's no written law saying that you're going to win. It's just, it gives you a better opportunity to win when you have a player like him. And on top of that, it gives you more notoriety as a team, and it puts you in a situation where you're being talked about a lot more on the media stations and things like that, and YouTube and ESPN's, because you have somebody like Kawhi. You take Kawhi off the team, nobody gives a damn about the Clippers nationwide, except people out here in LA. We're the only ones that probably would notice the Clippers or give a damn about them or like them or even think highly of them, because we're here in LA, unless you're a Lakers fan. But my point is, the Clippers organization, if there's people in there, even including Steve Ballmer, if they want to part ways with Kawhi, they have to understand what comes with that. Kawhi is one of the top players in the league when healthy, and you're not going to replace him probably with somebody as good or better. You're going to get maybe a bunch of draft picks back and maybe a solid player, and you'll be right back in the predicament that you were in years before he came there. And the crazy thing about it is they could look at it from a standpoint, Kawhi didn't do nothing for him. But honestly, they did nothing for Kawhi. If you look at it from that standpoint, they did give him Paul George. That's the one thing I can say they did. But I mean, I can't say that was a good situation for him because honestly, I mean, Paul George was probably one of the worst situations that Kawhi or worst teammates Kawhi ever could have had. Not outside of basketball, but in regards to playing basketball with him on a big stage because Paul George doesn't show up in big moments. Even though Kawhi picked him, you got to put that on Kawhi. But at the same time, the organization was in position to give Kawhi whatever he wanted because he was like the top free agent at that time, leaving Toronto, winning the championship, and other teams would have broke their back for Kawhi too. So it's not like the Clippers did something that other teams wouldn't have done because of who Kawhi Leonard is. Teams are going to do that for a great player like him because he brings so much, experience, wisdom, and winningness with him. You definitely want him a part of your team because of who he is as a player, even though he's always been a load management type guy. He's shown that he can win load managing. He did it in Toronto. But, I mean, maybe the Clippers organization failed him, too. I mean, you gave him Paul George, but the pieces you put around him other than that really wasn't good enough. Honestly, they weren't. Pat Beverly and players like that, they're not winning championships with players like Pat Beverly and, players like him. Just not doing it. Terrence Mann, guys like that, I do like them. But at the same time, they're not championship worthy. So, I mean, honestly, you could say the organization did him a disservice to a degree. They could have went out and got key players that really could have made the team a lot better, even though I think the team is a lot better now. But I mean, now they're a part of the scandal and all this going on. So who knows how the season's going to go. And if they actually void Kawhi's contract and he becomes a free agent, that would be the craziest thing ever. But at the same time, I still think he'll find his way to another team somehow, maybe even possibly the Lakers, because I don't think he would leave out of LA for anything, or California at that fact, maybe even go to the Warriors. Who knows? But my point is, he's still a part of the Clippers. Hopefully he stays and, finds a way to get a chip with them and play this year. Hopefully nothing negates that. But I mean, I think that if they want to part ways with a superstar like him, it doesn't really make sense for their organization, because even when you've had healthy superstars, you still couldn't win. So you can't sit there and knock him for having injuries, something he doesn't want to be. I don't think Kawhi wants to be injured. He just happened to be injured because that's where he's at in his career. He's always been injury prone to a degree, but at the same time, when he's not injury prone, he's one of the best players we've seen on the court, especially in the playoffs. So the Clippers could look at it from all angles. They paid him this money and got nothing out of it. But I mean, he could look at it from his angle and say, okay, I put blood, sweat, and tears in this team, and they didn't get the right pieces really for me to win. I mean, even though I was hurt at times, but they had pieces in there just throwing guys together, not really putting the right pieces to help them win. Because, I mean, honestly, like I said, James Harden, it's hard to win a championship with him because he's never been a winner. Paul George has never been a winner. Technically, when they had Russell Westbrook, he's never been a winner. So, I mean, they put pieces around Kawhi, but the pieces they put around him was either older pieces out of their prime or pieces just wasn't championship ready from the beginning. So, both sides could look at it as a disservice. But honestly, in my personal opinion, Kawhi Leonard, honestly, what he really needs to do, which makes teams really go against Kawhi, is his camp. Because that Uncle Dennis of his, honestly, that dude is probably Kawhi's biggest downfall when it comes to team organizational type things, because his uncle really pretty much dictates a lot that goes on, simply because he's like his manager and his, uncle at the same time. But I feel like that relationship right there is what really hurts organizations or makes organizations not really want to deal with Kawhi as much because of Kawhi's camp. So I feel like if he got rid of Uncle Dennis, I feel like his career would be a whole lot different going forward, and or it would have been a whole lot different before the time we're in now, even way back in the day to now. So I understand that situation might be irritating for the Clippers organization, but at the same time, they knew what they were signing up for. You sign up for Kawhi, you sign up for a top player like him, you wanted him to deliver a championship, but it was no guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee. I mean, if that's the case, every superstar in the NBA will have a championship. There's no guarantee you're going to win one. You just kind of roll the dice and see what happens. And if it didn't happen that way, cool. But honestly, you could say you had a player like Kawhi on your team that put you in contention to win a championship, whether or not it happens this year or not. I mean, still, you were relevant for some years when you wouldn't have been even that if Kawhi never even showed up to your organization or to your arena. So honestly, it could be looked at in negative both ways. It could be looked at in some positivity both ways. But either way, we'll see what happens with the scandal and everything. Hopefully it all comes out to fruition and everybody gets cleared and they can just go play and keep their heads on straight and try to focus on winning the championship.